recording push. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Naram Chaiva Tamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswati Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudirayet.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Tamasloke.
Bhagavate Tamasloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Verse 23. Tvam Adya Purusha Sakshat.
Tvam Adya Purusha Sakshat.
Ishvara Prakrite Para.
Ishvara Prakrite Para.
Mayam Vyudasya Chichaktya.
Mayam Vyudasya Chichaktya.
Kaivalye Sthita Atmani.
Kaivalye Sthita Atmani.
Tvam Adya Purusha Sakshat.
Tvam Adya Purusha
Sakshat.
Ishvara Prakrite Para.
Ishvara Prakrite Para.
Mayam Vyudasya Chichaktya.
Mayam Vyudasya Chichaktya.
Kaivalye Sthita Atmani.
Kaivalye Sthita Atmani.
Tvam Adya Purusha Sakshat.
Adya Purusha
Sakshat.
Ishvara Prakrite Para.
Ishvara Prakrite Para.
Mayam Vyudasya Chichaktya Saktya.
Mayam Vyudasya Chichaktya.
Kaivalya Sthita Atmani.
Kaivalye Sthita Atmani.
Translation and purport by Stephen Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Upad. You Tvam Adya, you are the original.
Tvam Adya, you are the original.
Purusha, the enjoying personality.
Purusha, the enjoying personality.
Sakshat, directly. Ishvara, the controller.
Ishvara, the controller.
Prakriti, of material nature.
Prakriti of material nature.
Para, transcendental.
Para transcendental.
Maya, the material energy.
Maya, the material energy.
Vyudasya, one who has thrown aside.
Vyudasya, one who has thrown aside.
Chit Satya, by dint of internal potency. Kaivalye, in pure eternal knowledge and bliss.
Kaivalye, in pure eternal
Wish.
knowledge and bliss.
Sthita, placed.
Sita, please.
Placed.
Atmani, own self.
Atmani, own self.
Translation, please repeat after me. You are the original personality of God.
You are the original personality of Godhead,
Who expands himself all over the creations
who expands himself all over the creations
and is transcendental to material energy.
and is transcendental to material energy.
You have cast away the effects of the material energy
You have cast away the effects of material energy
by dint of your spiritual potency.
By the dint of your spiritual
potency.
You are always situated in eternal bliss
You are
always
always
situated in eternal bliss
and transcendental knowledge.
and
transcendental knowledge.
Therefore,
The Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord can get released from the clutches of nescience. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya or material existence is just like darkness. Wherever there is light of the sun, darkness or ignorance at once vanishes. The best means to get out of the world of ignorance is suggested here. The Lord is addressed herein as the original personality of Godhead. From him, all other personalities of Godhead expand. The all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion or expansion. The Lord expands himself in innumerable form of Godhead and living beings, along with his different energies. But Shri Krishna is the original primeval Lord from whom everything emanates. The all-pervasive feature of the Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representation of the Lord. Paramatma, therefore, is included within him. He is the absolute personality of Godhead. He has nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material manifestation because he is far above the material creation. Darkness is a perverse representation of the sun, and therefore the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness, as the sun is full of light only. Similarly, the absolute personality of God beyond the material existence is full of bliss. He is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegatedness. Transcendence is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegatedness. He is distinct from the material nature, which is complicated by three modes of material nature. He is Parama, or the chief. Therefore, he is absolute. He has manifold energies, and through his diverse energies, he creates, manifests, maintains, and destroys the material world in his own abode. However, everything is eternal and absolute. The world is not conducted by the energies or powerful agents by themselves, but by the potent all-powerful with all energies.
मम ज्ञानतिग्नान्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताक स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमः। चार्यपदाय निताय कृपप्रधायिने गौरकथादामधाय नगरग्रामतारिणे नमः। विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे Paschatya Desatariне Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudanam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangai Tegiri Tripatama Munda Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Brahmanandamalam Sri Chaitanyameshwaram Hariom Tatsat Tomadya Purushat Sakshadishwara Prakrite Paramayam Judasya Jichatya Kaivalye Stita Atmani. Very beautiful verse about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the greatest one of the greatest authority, that is Sri Arjuna. So very beautiful statement. That we have to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the authority, not by any speculation. Speculation is no use. Actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, today morning, I just came across in 10.14.29, you can see, Athapite Deva Padhambujatvaya Prasada Leshanugrihita Evahi Janati Tattvam Bhagavan Mahimno Nachanya Eko Apichiram Vichinbam. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. So this is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam in content to be found. Very relevant here. So if you see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can be known by a person who has got a slight favor of the Lord upon him. That mercy is required. Unless otherwise, one is surrendered to Krishna, where to receive the mercy. So this is the Vedic version. He says in Bhagavad Gita that what Sarvadharman Paritecha Mamekam Sharanam Vracha. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Namedhaya Nabhuna Srutena Kathopanishad. So Atma, or the Supreme Absolute Truth, cannot be understood. It cannot be understood. So by becoming a great debater, one can understand the Supreme. That's not possible. That's not possible. Nor it is possible by a person who is very vastly learned or by a great scientist or philosopher. No chance. Arjuna is a surrendered soul. He says, Sishyasteham sadhimam tam prapannam. Otherwise, how can Arjuna speak such wonderful words about the personality of God as it is, as he is? It is not possible unless otherwise one surrenders and receives the mercy of Krishna. So Arjuna is a surrendered soul. And in every case he surrendered. Not that only one time he declared in Bhagavad Gita before when he is confused, Sishyasteham sadhimam tam prapannam. And after that he come out of that particular surrendering mode. No, he remained surrendered. That is why we saw when that nuclear war was mandated by this Ashwatthama's nuclear weapon, and when Arjuna found his own life in danger, he didn't take any decision on his own. He remained surrendered unto Krishna. This is the beauty of the devotee. The devotee means one who is surrendered to Krishna. So how many moments we are surrendered to Krishna, that many moments we are devotees. So 24 hours, Kirtaniya Sadaharihi, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So it is all Sada Khale Khale. So all the time we must remain surrendered, just like Arjuna is such a great authority and such a best example. How he faces death. The death has come in front of him. Okay, but he is, though he sees the death in front of him, Rather than becoming fearful about the death or taking some reaction or pro-action, he simply remains surrendered to Krishna. So in this way, Arjuna is fully surrendered. In every case, he remains surrendered to Krishna. So whenever there is any problem, only that time he is not surrendering. He has surrendered and he remains surrendered. Whether there is problem or no problem, he remains surrendered to Krishna. This is the attitude of a devotee. Not that when there is problem, I am surrendered, and when there is no problem, I am independent. No, always surrendered. That is Arjuna's position. So we have to follow. We have to follow. People are searching after God. They don't know what is God. They're asking question, can you show me God? So many questions are there about God. But here is God. Krishna Arjuna is declaring and is talking face to face with God. Just see. Pointed out. Arjuna is pointing out, you are the original personality of Godhead. So clear like sunlight. So we have to take this from such authorities. Okay. So Krishna consciousness movement established by Srila Prabhupada is based on this Mahajanas or authorities, great authority. Why are you searching for God? Here is God. Just like Arjuna is telling, Tomadya Purusha, you are the original person. Tomadya Purusha. Purusha means enjoyer. Purusha means enjoyer. Tum Adya Purusha Sakshat, directly. Sakshat Hari. Guru is Sakshat Hari. So Tvam Adya Purusha Sakshat. So directly you are the original personality of Godhead. And God is not female. Why? It is said as Purusha. Purusha means the enjoying personality. He is not energy. He is the energetic person who enjoys the energy and the activities of the energy. So this is the position of Krishna, and Arjuna is declaring, yeah, so God is not female. This is the evidence. Sometimes they worship a female god as like Durga, Kali, so many other demigods. But God here is declared is a Purusha. Is a Purusha. Everyone is Prakriti. Prakriti means female. Everyone knows it. Prakriti means female. Two things. One is called Prakriti, another is called Purusha. Purusha is the enjoyer, Prakriti is enjoyed. So Purusha is the predominator and Prakriti is predominated. So we are all Prakritis. So not like Mayavada, the Prakriti want to become Purusha. How can Prakriti become Purusha? Purusha is already there. So one cannot become Purusha. His position is not vacant. His situation is not vacant. So he is Purusha. Krishna is Purusha. Yekale Ishvara Krishna Arasa Bhutya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami announces this. Only Krishna is Purusha. He is the supreme enjoyer. All others, they are servant. This is the position. So one should never try to become Purusha or the master. That's very dangerous. Always remain Prakriti. That means remain surrendered to the energetic. Being a Prakriti of the Purusha, the Prakriti should always be under the control of Purusha. How come the controller? Direct control, Sakshat. Under the direct control of Purusha, not indirect control. So Prakriti should be under the direct control of Purusha. So this is the status of the Prakriti. But if the controlled try to become controller, then everything is a chaos. So here is our supreme control. Tvam Adya Purusha Sakshat. Not that you are made by some means or by process. No, he is already there. It's not an artificial Ishvara. So where is the difficulty to understand God? Krishna, Arjuna is very boldly declaring. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada is very clearly giving that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna can get released from the clutches of missiles. So Krishna means sun, Maya means darkness. Many times we have discussed this point. Nobody has found a torch that can emit darkness to hide the light, because darkness does not exist. Okay, it is only temporary means. It only is an indication of absence of light. It doesn't actually exist. It is a temporary and appear to be existing illusion. So where there is no light, darkness prevails. In spiritual world, there is no darkness at all. If darkness does exist, it should also exist in spiritual world, right? But there is no darkness in spiritual world. Every planet is effulgent. Every planet. There is no need of sun, moon, or electricity or any other power there in order to produce light. And there is no darkness at all because there is no ignorance. So darkness is the symptom of ignorance. Actually, how can there be ignorance in a soul who is part and parcel of Krishna, who is full of eternity and full of knowledge and blissfulness? Where is ignorance? Actually, there is no ignorance. But forgetful of Krishna. When the Prakriti want to become Purusha, then yes, then there is Purusha is hidden. When Prakriti want to become Purusha, when the living entity want to act like Krishna, then Krishna is hidden. Krishna has full right whether to expose himself to you or not. So he hides himself in his internal potency. That's another type of Prakriti. We are marginal potency. We are Tatastha Shakti. We are the Prakriti, superior Prakriti to the material inferior Prakriti, but then we are marginal. There is one above us, that is internal potency. Hara, Hare Krishna, we chant. So we address that internal potency of Krishna to engage us in the service of them, both Radha and Krishna. So that is our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So the Lord is addressed here as the original personality of Godhead by Arjuna. And from him, all the personalities of Godhead expand. So the Vishnu Tattva is also a plenary portion of Krishna. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. That is the all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion or expansion. So many things, Bhagavad Gita full of description about himself. Aham Adehi Devanam, he says. Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, he says. Mam Evaye Prapatyante, Mayam Etam Tarantite. Everything is explained. So Krishna is Sakshat, directly. Where is the difficulty to find out God? So making research and speculation is not the way. Accept the authority, surrender unto the spiritual master, accept a bona fide spiritual master, because he has seen the truth. So he can show you the truth. He can show God. He can take you to God. Why he shows you God? He takes you to God. He recommends you to God, and God speaks to you, and you are re-establishing your relationship. So spiritual master is very confidential. Such a wonderful person that he can make impossible possible. And we rebelled against Krishna and came out, and we forgot totally. Now, to connect us, it is impossible by any means of our own speculation or yogic process or karmic process or anything. It is quite impossible because we rebelled and Krishna said Tathastu, and that is it. We are disconnected. We are disintegrated from the whole fire as a spark. So we don't have that. We are extinguished for spark of the fire. In order to illuminate us, the spiritual master comes. In order to illuminate us with that particular eternity and knowledge about Krishna. And he shows that what all you have forgotten, you not only forgotten Krishna, you also have forgotten devotional service, and that's the very means of your existence. That you have forgotten. So where are you existing? You are existing as false, thinking oneself as body, thinking oneself as mind. There is no original existence emanated here. There is no original existence as a soul, as a part and parcel of Krishna, as a related to Krishna. Krishna's relative. You are very personal relative to Krishna, and you don't exhibit those kind of attitude. Why? Because you forgot Krishna. So you forgot devotion service, but you are working always working. And Krishna is missing. But you are always working. What is the use? And Krishna is all pervasive. He is all pervasive. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. But despite that, you're missing Krishna. He's everywhere and still we can't see him. He's everywhere and still we cannot perform devotional service to him. What is this? Very precarious situation. It's very precarious. Ashwatthama. Krishna is directly visible to this rascal, but he could not even recognize that. And he is shooting Brahmastra to kill Arjuna, to kill everybody, to protect himself. Just see. This is the very unfortunate situation when the Supreme Lord in the form of spiritual master or in the form of any form of him comes in front of us, make himself visible out of his causeless mercy only, not out of anybody's karma. One can see God. Impossible, impossible. Now, brave grahyam indriya. This indriya you can acquire knowledge. This indriya you can, perform activity. But through any of this indriya, whatever you perform, whether speculation or acquiring knowledge or this particular yogic process or any activity, you cannot see God. Na bhaved grahyam indriya. So unless otherwise you have sadhu sangha, sadhu siddhihaya, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhihaya. Unless otherwise you take the association of the pure devotee, there is no chance. Because the pure devotee remains connected, remains surrendered all the time to Krishna, just like Arjuna here. Remains surrendered all the time, not only when problem comes. So, that is the absolute personality of Godhead. Krishna. He is beyond any material existence. He is full of bliss. He is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegatedness. Transcendental is not static, Prabhupada says. It is full of dynamic variegatedness. Just see. Full of dynamic variegatedness. He is distinct from the material nature. That is, the material nature is nothing but complicated. Three modes of material nature. He is param, above all these things. He is the chief. He is the head of all heads. So, and he is absolute. So he can have unlimited energies, and through his different diverse energies, he can create, he can manifest, he can maintain, he can destroy. He just plays like anything, You want to play with him. Possible. In his own abode, anything and everything is absolute. So, there is no agents required in the spiritual world. Krishna Sakshat directly is conducting all his wonderful feats, his pastimes. So we need to understand Krishna from authorities like Arjuna. There are so many Mahajanas. There are some 12 Mahajanas, like Swayambhu, Manu, Narada, Shiva, Kapila, Kumara, 4 Kumaras, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali. So, Sukadeva Goswami, Brahma, they are all Mahajanas. They are greatest authorities. They have seen the truth, absolute truth. They interacted with the Supreme Personality of God directly, face to face, one to one, in their very same life, when they existed in whatever body as we recognize. They met him, they spoke to him, they had transaction with the Lord. Such a personalities. So they are all authorities. That is called the greatest authority. And Arjuna here. So though it may not be listed within that, but he is also a great authority. He is a Mahajana because in this very same body, he is interacted with the Lord. He has seen him face to face. He is talking. So this is called Mahajana. So we have to understand Krishna from the person who's seen him, who spoke to him, who lived with him, who interacted with him, who had transaction with him. And from the very same body, when he saw the Krishna, when he had transaction, he's talking to us about Krishna. What is the difficulty in understanding God? Mahajano yena gata sapanta. We have to simply follow what they say. We have to simply follow. And if you simply speak what Krishna says, then you also become his representative. You also become a Mahajana. You don't need to manufacture anything. Preaching means not manufacturing. No overprudent. Simply follow Krishna and his representative, the spiritual master. You can become Mahajana. Otherwise, we are nonsense. Muda. Namam dushkrutino muda. We will be taken into that particular category. That is a test. That is a test. One should be very, very careful to follow Lord Chaitanya's instruction. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very clearly said, he never said that I am directly servant of Krishna. Did he say that? He said, I am not God. He never said, I am directly servant of God. He said, Gopi Bhartupada Kamalayo Dasa 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 Anudasa. Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the 100 times servant of servant. The more you become servant of the servant, you are more perfect. And as soon as you declare independence, you are rascal. This is a process. So we should remain most obedient servant of my master. Then it will reveal. Then whole thing is revelation only. It is not by experience. It is not by scholarship. No, no. Revelation. Ye yatatmam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. How much you have surrendered, proportionately the God will reveal himself to you. Shraddho hridaya vrudyate yatra krutavi susrushu vistakshanat. So when we don't reach to that level, then hear from Arjuna. Hear from the authorities, hear from spiritual masters, be surrendered unto them, first of all. Serve them, then you will understand the God will reveal. So that is how we should know God, not by dint of speculation or any other process. It is God wants to reveal himself, he will reveal. Not you want to see him, you can see. That is not possible. So simply follow the instruction of one who see in God, who is the Jnaninas Tattva Darshana. Surrender unto them. Serve them. That's all. It's such a simple process. They exist in front of you. They see face to face. You can see spiritual master. You can hear him every day. He is giving Lord Chaitanya class. He is talking about the supreme personality of God. It's past time that happened, which is happening continuously on this particular material plane. He is narrating that bit by bit every day. Every day. He's not taking all your 24 hours. You must listen to me. No. He just hardly half an hour to 40 minutes is talking about such a wonderful narration of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why can't hear that? What is so important in this material world that you don't have time to hear about God, who has come here for you, who has done so many things, who is continuously doing, who has sent spiritual master, and is also to talk his activity through the spiritual master to you. What is the problem for spending half an hour to listen? What is more important in life? And what is the use of doing anything more important in life than hearing from such a spiritual master about that particular pastime of the Lord, which is currently happening here at this time? You don't need to be witnessing the Lord's pastime. You can take part in the pastime of the Lord. Spiritual master has the potency to take you inside the pastime. He has the potency. He is not Srimad Bhagavatam. You read, you may only witness. You can only see what's happening. But when you are hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, the Lord, the spiritual master, is able to take you inside the pastime and you can play. That is a beauty. That is a beauty. That's a real live Bhagavatam. So please do not miss this Srimad Bhagavatam Chaitanya class, Lord Chaitanya class of Guru Maharaj at any cost. That is most important. If you are breathing and he is giving class, you are there. That must be very firmly determined in that statement, all of us. Then our life is successful. Otherwise, what is the use of so much of bhakti we are doing? We won't progress. No progress will happen. By dint of any kind of amount of devotion, service, and chanting the holy name, if we are not taking properly the association of spiritual master when he is giving it, and you are ignoring it, knowing well that there is nothing more important than that. So please, induce everyone to also attend this Lord Chaitanya class and don't miss the Lord Chaitanya class. Thank you very much. Shantha, Gopi, you want to add anything or we'll go to the next verse?
Amazing. Very, very, very nice. And also the verse is also very nice. That the Krishna Mahabaho. So first Arjuna is calling Krishna for help. But he is not immediately asking help. He is describing the quality of Krishna. How nicely he is beyond three modes of material nature. All the energies are under the control of Krishna. But Krishna is not touched by the energies or affected or influenced by the energy. Then he continues to talk. Can you go to the, 1 second, can you go to the translation? You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creation and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of material energy by dint of a spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. This is similar to the verses in Bhagavad Gita. There also Arjuna is glorifying due the Virat Rupa. Not Virat Rupa, Vishwarupa. When Krishna is showing Vishwarupa, he is also offering prayers similar to this. That's it, Vrajeshwar. Very, very nice explanation.
Jai Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai Guru
Jai.
Maharaj.
Next.
Next verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 24. Sa eva jiva lokasya. Sa eva jiva lokasya.
Lokasya
Maya mohita chetasha.
Maya
Maya mohita chetasha.
Vidatsye svena viryena.
Vidaste
Vena
viryena.
Sreyo dharmadi lakshanam.
Sreyo dharmadi lakshanam.
Sa eva jiva lokasya.
Sa eva jiva lokasya.
Maya mohita chetasa.
Maya
You're not able to hear.
Chetasa.
Haribol.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Haribol.
Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol.
Only I am not able to hear.
No, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. Hare.
Hello, Hare Krishna. Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Haribol. Sir.
Yes, we can hear sir also.
Haribol. Hari.
Now,
I am not able to hear him.
no, now we cannot able to hear.
Sa eva jiva lokasya.
Sa eva jiva lokasya
Maya mohita chetasha.
Maya mohita chetasa
Vidatse sveta viryena.
Vidatse svena viryena
Sreyo dharmadi lakshanam.
Shreyo dharmadi lakshanam
Sa eva jiva lokasya. Maya mohita chetasa. Vidaste svena viryena. Sreyo dharmadi lakshanam. Vrajeshwar Prabhu, yeah, Vrajeshwar Prabhu, wait. Can you hear me? I think you check whether he's muted. No. Oh, Krishna. Okay. Sir, that transcendence.
So that transcendence
Eva, certainly.
certainly
Jiva lokasya, of the conditioned living beings.
Jiva Lokasya of
of
the
the conditioned
conditioned
living beings.
Maya mohita, captivated by the illusory energy.
Maya mohita, captivated by the illusory energy.
Chetasha, by the heart.
Chetasa by
Chetasa by the heart.
Vidaste, execute.
Vidatse, execute.
Svena, by your own.
Svena, by your own.
Viryena, influence.
Viryena, influence.
Shreya, ultimate good.
Shreya, ultimate good.
Dharma Adi, four principles of liberation.
Dharma are the
four
four principles of liberation.
Lakshanam, characterized by.
Lakshanam, characterized by.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of material energy,
And yet,
though you are beyond the purview of the material energy,
you execute the four principles of liberation.
You execute the four
principles of liberation.
Characterized by religion.
Characterized by religion.
And so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls.
And so on for
the ultimate good of the conditioned souls.
Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, descends to the manifested world without being influenced by the material modes of nature. He is eternally beyond the material manifestations. He descends out of his causeless mercy only to reclaim the fallen souls who are captivated by the illusory energy. They are attacked by the material energy and they want to enjoy her under false pretexts. Although in essence the living entity is unable to enjoy. One is eternally the servitor of the Lord, and when he forgets this position, he thinks of enjoying the material world, but factually he is in illusion. The Lord descends to eradicate this false sense of enjoyment and thus reclaim conditioned souls back to Godhead. That is the all merciful nature of the Lord for the fallen souls.
That's it. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So, Shantha Gopi, would you like to speak or shall I continue?
Yeah, I can speak. You can add up something in the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So that Arjuna first Om Ajnanatirmiranasinghananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karodi Vachalam Gayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Sri Gurum Dinataranam Paramanandamadavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Nitinamini Namo Acharya Padaya Nithaya Kripa Pradayani Gaura Katagamadaya Nagaragramatarani Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desadharani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gauriti Chaimura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so very, very nice scientific. How Arjuna, see, sometimes people think devotees are sentimental and they don't have much knowledge. They are they can be easily cheated. They are simply sentimental people. Like this, sometimes misunderstand. Even a pure devotee, when he is very, very merciful, people misunderstand him to be sentimental person of this material world where they show affection, but they are in ignorance. But actually, pure devotees of the Lord, their heart is very tender, they are very loving, affectionate, and they are very merciful. At the same time, they are full of knowledge, eternity, and bliss. They are full of knowledge. It doesn't mean that if somebody is very affectionate, somebody is very merciful, somebody is kind and compassionate, doesn't mean that they have to be foolish. Sometimes we see foolish mental speculators who artificially pose kindness, mercy, compassion in the materialistic sense. But when it has come to a pure devotee, and that person, when he is showing that, talking about so much lecture about compassion, we see that he is completely ignorance in transcendentalism. Point number one. Again, he is promoting the compassion and materialism to attract followers. We can very easily find out. But at the same time, here we see that the Arjuna is the topmost archer. Point number one, he fought in the war and he was called Vijaya. He won the war in the friendship of Krishna and surrendered to Krishna. Despite he's not going to be the king. He's the middle son. First is Yudhishthira, second is Bhima, third is Arjuna. And then comes Nakula and Sahadeva. So he's not going to rule the kingdom. The desire for ruling the kingdom means there's no motivation. Just because Krishna, one motivation is there, love for Krishna. And that is service. I love Krishna, Krishna is telling me to do, I'll just do it. So we can see that how Arjuna, he has listened to Bhagavad Gita very nicely from Krishna. And you can see the result and the fruit of this conversation. So in 10th canto, 10th chapter or 11th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is giving some prayers to Krishna, saying that, my dear, Ye Krishna, He Adava, He Saketi, I have called you, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakyeti. I have treated you equal, and I have sometimes mocked you with some jokes, rebuked you with comments and jokes. Carry casually, I have dealt with you. Now I see you that you're really so great, Supreme Personality of Godhead. But please, I don't want to see this form. I want to see you, that form, as my friend, the two-handed form. So the prayers are very, very sublime in nature. Not like foolishness. No foolishness. No ignorance. Very clear in the tattva. Knowledge doesn't mean that what we see in the material world as jnana is different from the Krishna conscious tattvas, which we are going through now. So he's telling that the three modes of the energies are submissive to him. So Prabhu said very nicely, Krishna is Purusha, and all his energies, prakritis, are in the female form. The prakritis are in the female form, but the Purusha is always Purusha. Even when he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though the prakriti, Radharani's potency, he has taken and he has come, but still he is a Purusha. He is not female. Sometimes Guru Maharaj always says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should not be portrayed like feminine. Oh, he came in the mood of Radharani. So sometimes you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deity or something will be made like more of a girlish or a very young boy, of course, will look little girlish, but not manly. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Mahaprabhu. He is also Purusha. He is a male. So it's a male, but the internal energy, energetic is a personality. And in spiritual world, the energy is also a personality. Spiritual, the energy is also personality. So here, now why energy alone? Energy has three: internal, external, marginal. All of them are personality. That doesn't mean that the Adi Purusha, Govindam, Adi Purusham, Govinda, the Supreme Personality, is actually a Purusha, even though the internal potency is merged with him, or he is coming in the mood and color of the internal potency. Internal potency has taken over his characteristics, and she is portraying her characteristics, but still he is Purusha only. Very, very important. And he has three energies, actually Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. So he's beyond these three modes of material nature, which are like a person, a small boy will be playing with an elastic ball. There will be a ball attached to an elastic. So you can, even for Guru Maharaj and all, they gave it for hand exercise, finger exercise. Those who have had stroke, they will have, like, you throw the elastic and the ball goes a little far away. It looks like the ball is out of control. If there is no elastic, generally if there is a ball in the hand, you throw it, it just goes. It doesn't come back. And you have to go and pick it up and come. Very rarely it comes back bouncing somewhere and it comes back. Very, very rarely. But if there is an elastic, and so it's not under your control once you throw the ball away. But you see that the ball attached with the elastic, and the kids are playing, throwing it away. It looks as if it goes away and it is out of control. It looks like that. Because it goes even with more force. And then, but actually it is connected to the player, to the boy who's playing. It is attached in his hand and it's under his control. So just any time he can withdraw and take it back in his hand. Same way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has unlimited potency. Juggler, they say that the juggler plays with 3 balls. He will juggle in the air 3 balls. You can see in circus or some places where they have some shows. You can see that the juggler is playing with 3 balls up in the air, playing the 3 balls. Sometimes you'll say football players playing around with the football here and there like this. And it looks like it's under the control, but somebody can anytime take it over. But this elastic ball is actually attached with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it just comes back to the hand anytime. Anytime he can withdraw the potency. So in this way, it is completely under the control. The thread, the thin thread of elasticity is there. Sometimes you will see that the energy is, you may see that The energy is acting independently. When you see the material world, you don't see Krishna at all. People say nature is God. Nature is everything. So sometimes you ask, who is God? Nature. How nature comes? No, it automatically acts. It looks like it automatically acts. But it is not so. It is completely under the control of Krishna. How do we know that Vyasadeva? How do we know? Vyasadeva is telling when after he gets the instruction from his Guru Maharaj, he's sitting on the meditation and he's seeing that three things, that internal, external, all the energies are under the control. He sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also sees that all the energies are under the control of Krishna, fully under the control of Krishna. He's seeing that. So don't think that, okay, things are not proper, so I have to set it right. There's no Krishna here. In Goloka, I will meet Krishna. He is completely conscious of us. Only we are not conscious of him. He is fully conscious. He doesn't have forgetfulness. If somebody has forgetfulness, how they can be God? How they can be God? So no forgetfulness. Fully conscious. No ignorance. Full of knowledge. Every knowledge about everything. All knowledge. So here Arjuna is very nicely, even though they are in friendship, Sakya Bhava, they are very friend, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakha, very, very nice. And when Kalindi is standing in the bank of River Yamuna, confidential service, Lord is engaging, just go and Fatakarao, that lady, girl is waiting for me, just go and find out if I can marry her. See, the relationship is so amazing. But the transcendental relationship is not out of ignorance. In material world, people say that the love is blind. But in the spiritual, love is not blind. It's full of knowledge. And of course, they will act as if they are not knowing that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though it's after maturity, like Yashoda. She acts in such a way that he's not my son. That doesn't mean that she's in ignorance. She doesn't know. She's full of knowledge. But so that is the difference between Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Should understand the difference between Mahamaya and Yoga Maya. Here also it's mentioned Maya. So it's not coming under the material energies, not coming under illusion. Same way, pure devotees are never under illusion. Sometimes it may look so, but it is Yoga Maya. What is this Yoga Maya? The spiritual world, the Maya, which is by the will of Krishna, if a living entity forgets, by the will of Krishna, if the living entity forgets for his pleasure, for his service, Krishna wants the living entity to forget his supremacy. They won't forget Krishna, but they will forget his supremacy. That is Yoga Maya. And what is Mahamaya? Mahamaya is by the will of the soul, free will of the soul, without the desire of Krishna. Not for his service, not for his pleasure, but for their own enjoyment, their own pleasure, thinking that I'll enjoy. We can never enjoy without Krishna. Never. No living entity can be completely happy without Krishna. Krishna is called reservoir of pleasure, Rama. The primary name, Rama, is actually Krishna's name only. Rama, Ramana. Both the names almost similar meaning. Reservoir of pleasure. Not just giver of pleasure. Govinda is there. Govinda is also that giver of pleasure to the senses. That is why Guru Maharaj Prabhupada told that when we have a chain of restaurants, name them Govindas. Prabhupada is absolute in nature. See how nicely he's telling. What should be Prabhupada? What should be the name of? We have chain of restaurants all over the world. We can have our own restaurant providing prasadam on some cost. People love to go to restaurants, dine, have nice time. Yeah, we can have Chaturvidasi Bhagavat Prasado Swadamna Triptan Haribhakta Sangan Kritvaiva Triptim Bhajatasai Daiva Vande Guru Sri Charanarabdam. The association. How do we take prasadam? Prasadam we take Chaturvida Sri Bhagavat Prasado Swadanna Triptan Haribhakta Sangan. Haribhakta Sangha. We take the prasadam in the Haribhakta Sangha. So Prabhupada said, okay, fine. Let them come and dine. So he named it as Govinda. So Krishna is full of pleasure. Krishna is the pleasure potency, Radharanima, is completely surrendered and she's serving him. So without Krishna, there is no happiness. So this Mahamaya means forgetting Krishna by one's own free will. I want to forget Krishna. I don't want to remember Krishna at this particular point of time. I don't want to remember. Why? Because I want to do sense enjoyment. I want to do this. I want to do that. Do it authoritatively. Anybody who wants to, even if you don't love Krishna, you want to hide in the eyes of Krishna and do things, it is Bhayankara. Sometimes you see Hollywood movies, they are Bhayankara. Very heavy, Maha Bhayankara. Why? Because godlessness creates fear. And even when we were demigod worshippers, I still remember when I was young, there was a movie came like Dracula and all. So we didn't see fully. I saw a little bit at those times. We take deck and some TV for rent for 24 hours or something. And we see all the movies possible within the 24 hours. It's on rental basis. So we saw the Dracula. My brothers, they saw it in the theater. So they were very much recommending. Then when we saw, it was like, oh my God, so much ghost coming and showing Gaura Rupa and all that. Kali shows even better Gaura Rupa than the ghost. She keeps them under control. Even Shiva, when he comes in the evening, 6 o'clock, the ghosts are around like this. So it shows this very furious forms. Then I asked a question to my mother, why they are not calling God's name? Some demigod, some God name, they can call, but they are running like anything. The ghost is also the people who are scared also No Krishna, Govinda, Rama, nothing. Krishna, Mahabaho, nothing. No Bhayankara comes. At least when fear comes. So the atheistic civilization is so fearful in nature. It is fearful in nature. But the fear personified will fear Krishna. This beautiful quote of Prabhupada mentioning fear personified will fear Krishna. Krishna Surya Sama. We saw in the previous purport, first line. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Hayantakar. Only in darkness you have fear. When there's light, everything is visible. If there is a rope, it's a rope, it's not a snake. There is no doubt for you. And if there's a snake, you know it's a snake, you'll move far away. Of course, you'll get a little scared, but you'll just move far away because there is light, you can escape. In darkness, if there may be a rope, you think it's a snake and you get. So Maya is very, very powerful. Maya is very fearful, because it is darkness. But as Prabhu said, what is that darkness? What is the definition of darkness? Definition of darkness is absence of light. Same way, what is the definition of Maya? Absence of Krishna. So Rupa Goswami gives the basic principle, which is given by, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to him in Prayag. He wrote Nectar of Instruction. He's writing Nectar of Devotion, where he writes the primary principle on which everything should be executed is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Two things, do and don't. Do, what is the do I need to do? Remember Krishna. What I shouldn't do? Forget Krishna. I should never forget Krishna. What I should do? I'll always remember Krishna. So in this way, when we are there, we are not actually captivated by Maya. So this Maya means forgetting Krishna. So as soon as you remember Krishna, by constant hearing, seeing of the beautiful forms, 5 powerful processes are there in devotional service. Any one of this process, you're constantly in touch also, you'll remember Krishna. So this Mahamaya means forgetting Krishna by our own will. Because envy Krishna. Instead of loving Krishna, we envy, we come to the other extreme. The difference between kama and prema. Kama means Krishna boliye bhogavancha kare. Forgetting Krishna, I want to enjoy. Prema is the love. That is the extreme. That is the original. Our original nature is prema. We are actually full of love for Krishna. But we have come to this extreme of, then whom it affects. It doesn't affect Krishna. You see here, Krishna is never affected, but it's affecting us. We are very disturbed mentally. We are unhappy. We are lonely. All these, only one reason. He is full of love. Why can't you love him? Biggest offense is when somebody gives so much love and you don't reciprocate to it. You don't give it back. Not the love in this material world is full of lust. In the name of love will end with lust. Somebody loves you so much, they'll ask your property. A man loves a girl so much, then he will ask sex. At last, there is some motivation. There is no pure love without any personal motivation. But that exists between Jiva and Lord. So here you see that the Arjuna, the affection, the Sakhya Bhava, affection between Arjuna and Krishna is very, very sweet and very, very like liquid form, that affection. But at the same time, is very clear in his knowledge. Very clear in spiritual knowledge. Not that I love Krishna, mujhe itna pyar karte hain, like this, I love so much. But there is no, I want to listen to philosophy. I don't like philosophy. I like to hear stories of Krishna. You're a Sahajya. You will never touch that original Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should be like this Arjuna, all this Mahajana. Prabhu is telling, they're all examples. We saw in the previous verse when Prabhu gave, Mahajananena gatasapanta. How amazing these personalities are there. They are affectionately loving Krishna and very sentimentally. At the same time, they are very clear in their consciousness and thought process and knowledge. Very, very clear. And they don't claim any proudness out of it. They are genuine well-wishers of everybody. So, Arjuna, see here knowledge. The personality of God is Sri Krishna. So here, although you are beyond the purview of material energy, my dear Lord, you're not touched. But at the same time, you're entering into the material world and establishing dharma. What is he trying to say here? What not trying? What is he saying here? What is Arjuna saying here? My dear Lord, you're out of all the material nature. You don't touch this mode of material nature in the material world. You're not under its control. But still you discerned. For what? What is that? Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Dharma samsthapana. You're still coming here. You're establishing the principles of religion. Despite you don't have anything to do with it. For what? For the welfare of the conditioned souls. For the ultimate good of the conditioned souls. That is the translation here. For the ultimate good of the conditioned souls. Even though the Supreme Lord has nothing to do with them. There is beautiful sloka. I would like to terminate this thing with the explanation with that. There is one in 10th canto, it's a beautiful verse. Damodara pastime. There are two, Nalakuvera and Manikriva, who are the sons of Kuvera. They were playing naked in some pond with some girls and in so-called enjoyment or whatever. And Narada Muni is passing through that side and these guys were fully drunk, okay. And the girls immediately tried to cover themselves out of respect. But these boys were just like that. It's very disrespectful. But Narada Muni is not affected by this. He's not within the three modes of material nature. That also we should understand. He's a transcendental personality. So he thought that even animals are better. They are Deva Kumaras. They have given, their father has given position. The conditioned soul is a conditioned soul, whether in any form. Let it be Deva, let it be Asura. Once you hate Krishna, you're a hater of Krishna. Branded hater of Krishna will not have any character only. Let it be anybody. Indra, from Indra to Indra Gopa. Everybody is characterless. Everybody is nasty fellow because they don't have love of Krishna. Once anybody gets love of Krishna, then they are perfect character. So there is a beautiful sloka, my dear Lord. And then Narada Muni thinks that if they see Krishna once, then that's it. All this nonsense will get lust, greed, envy, anger, all these things will go. What nonsensical life they are living. Then what he did is he cursed them, not out of anger. He became very angry. Muni, Rishi, they will become angry. But a pure devotee is Dhira, Adhira, Janapriya, Priyakar. Any cursing is a welfare for the other person. They will fall down because of their puffed upness. They will offend the Vaishnavas. They will offend the devotees. So once they see this is an offense, today he is offending us, I forgive. But offending a devotee will lead into a very great danger. So sometimes there is a curse. So even the Rupa Goswami says that one should not curse, but you see here, Narada Muni is cursing here to become trees in Vrindavan. Trees, he just curses to become trees. Arjuna, Yamala and Arjuna trees. So Yamala, Arjuna tree, they became in Vrindavan as twin trees, and they were standing, and then the Lord came, and then they saw Krishna's all pastimes in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaja. How fortunate the curse of a devotee, a pure devotee. A curse of a pure devotee is also a blessing in disguise. So then the beautiful sloka, my dear Lord, even though you don't have the Nalakuvera and Manigriva, or saying, my dear Lord, even though you don't have anything to do with the persons involved in the three modes of material nature, you don't need to come in front of them and show yourself. You don't need to do it. Because we are not aware of you, and you are not bothered about us, because we are not Krishna conscious. We don't want. But even though Krishna is conscious, you won't involve in their affairs. But because you have come in front of us, because Narada Muni desired so, because you're pure devotee, Narada Muni desired that let this Manigriva and Nalakuvera see Krishna. If they see Krishna once, that's it, they are finished. All this nonsense will go away from them. In this way, they're beautiful prayer. It's a beautiful prayer. Because Narada Muni desired so. Same way, when a pure devotee desires, Lord descends, and then he sets aside the dharma. You see, every place there will be a pure devotee. Bali Maharaj was there in Vamana, and Narsingadev pastime, Prahlad was there. Always there is pure devotee. Either a pure devotee or pure devotees for which Lord actually appears. That is revealed, the truth is revealed to give pleasure to the pure devotees, those who have invested their faith on the Supreme Lord. He appears to prove them true. In this way, Arjuna is full of knowledge, at the same time full of love. Both are possible together. Like the foolish material person or a person mental speculator thinks, oh, they are very sentimental, I am full of knowledge. You are full of ignorance. Loving Krishna and loving Guru is absolute truth. And if you can't even understand that, you are in ignorance, whatever position you may be, whatever big bhashan and followers you are having, still you are a fool, number one, because you don't know the discrimination between spiritual and material. Go to Bhagavad Gita and search what is knowledge. Krishna explains what is knowledge. Knowledge is discriminating between what is material and what is spiritual. And if you cannot discriminate, that's also his telling. He is said to be in ignorance. So if you cannot distinguish between material sentiment and spiritual sentiment, then you are in ignorance. Whoever it may be, they are in ignorance. So we see beautifully here, Arjuna, Krishna Mahabaho, sweet surrender. How can surrender be sweet? We see here, sweet surrender, full of knowledge. Thank you. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Vrajeshwar Prabhu.
Hari Bol, so wonderful. So this is Sa eva jiva lokasya maya mohita chetasa. Maya mohita chetasa. This is in Bhagavad Gita also he says yada yada hi dharmasya glanir. So he comes. The dharma is what dharma he is establishing. The dharma is establishing is I am servant of Krishna. That is my position. Dharma means characteristic of the living entity. So like Prabhupada used to say, the sugar has to become sweet. That is the dharma of the sugar. A chili has to become hot. And if it is chili taste, but it is sugar, then it is useless. Chili is a sweet taste. It is useless. So that particular dharma means one's characteristics. As a servant of Krishna, what is the originality of the spirit soul? The spirit soul, Mamai Jiva Loke, Jiva Muta Sanatana. Sanatana, eternally, we are part and parcel of Krishna. That is the originality of the spirit soul. And what is his duty being part and parcel of the Krishna? To serve Krishna. That is original dharma. So in order to teach that original dharma, Krishna is coming. Sa eva jiva lokasya maya mohita chetasa. There, maya mohita chetasa, this particular living entity, conditioned soul, they are maya mohita chetasa. That means what? That means they are influenced by the Maya, engaged in sense gratification. You say in so many different ways, this Maya Mohita Chetasa. So if you see here, Maya Mohita means captivated by illusory energy, Chetasa at heart. Okay. So this is the conditioned soul's position, that they are Maya Mohita Chetasa. They are influenced by sense gratification. So that is also called Dharma Seglani. So now the point here is, the so-called educated or advanced men in the society, if you say that you have to serve Krishna, this is not your duty, you are going to the office and earning daily 5,000 rupees, that is simply useless. It is simply a waste of energy. Who will believe it? And nobody will believe it, right? They will say, well, what you're talking is a nonsense proposal. Talk something practical. But the Shastra is telling that. We saw in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the second chapter, a sequence of sloka, dharma swanustita pumsam visvakshena katasuya, notpadayet rati ratim, what is that? Ratim yadi sramayevahi kevalam. So you are doing your duty very nicely, you are earning, you are maintaining family. Your dharma means your occupational duty. Suppose you are an engineer or you are a doctor, you are doing your duty very nicely. Or you are a businessman, anyone, okay, everyone has to do something. So you cannot sit down idly and you will get your livelihood. No. That Prabhupada used to say, even a lion is the king of the forest. So because he's a king, he cannot sit and open his mouth and, goat will come or some deer will come and tell, my dear king, please open your mouth, let me enter. Prabhupada used to beautifully say this in one of the lectures, So that will not happen. Even lion has to work for its food. You can't sit idly. What is that? Something. Nahi suktasya simhasya, something will come. So the material world is like that. Even if you are as powerful as a lion, you cannot sleep. So even if you are animal, you have to catch up an animal. Then you will be able to eat. Otherwise, you will have to serve. So that is dharma, means occupational duty. You have to do something for, not struggle for existence. Keeping yourself engaged in performing devotional service, you have to do something because you have accepted a foreign body as your body. Otherwise, you don't need to do this nonsense thing of working and earning money. Actually, you can be engaged in pure devotional service directly. But because you accepted another body apart from you, we accepted another body. Now you have to maintain this body also, and you have to maintain yourself also. Yourself can be maintained by Krishna consciousness only. And that is performing devotional service only. Now you want to maintain this body also, okay, work and earn also. What to do? This is called, what Prabhupada says, bad bargain. Best use of bad bargain, you make it. What to do? Okay. You have accepted. Yourself is pure soul who is related to Krishna, and you are supposed to perform devotional service. That is your dharma. Paro dharma yato bhakti adokshaja. Do bhakti to adokshaja is your paradharma. Paro dharma, eternal supreme religion. That's your supreme religion because you are the part and parcel of supreme personality of God. But you have also accepted a material body. So you have to work and earn also. So do it. What to do? But keep Krishna at the center because the main person is you, not the body. That replacement has to happen into your mental attitude. The main person is me and not this body. So the main, all this body maintenance I am doing for want of performing devotional service because the main person in me who doesn't die. I don't die. So that activity is more important for me than I die, this bodily activities. So I have to maintain the body, totally agreed. I have to work, I have to earn money, I have to maintain family, I have to do all these things. But what purpose? Why? Because I'm existing in this body and I want to develop my original body by performing devotional service. So I want to engage my senses in the pure, unalloyed, loving devotional service. So bona fide spiritual master is there to purify my senses and engage me and remind me of what service I'm supposed to do, what is devotional service, what I should do when I am present in the body, which is full of na bhavet grahim indriya. From this na bhavet grahim indriya situation, how can I engage my senses in Krishna's senses? This technique is not taught anywhere and you cannot find out. No discovery and no any innovative measure. But a spiritual master can reveal that to you. Only spiritual master can reveal that. So because spiritual master is also not influenced by the three modes of material nature. He is eternally beyond any kind of material manifestation. And out of his causeless mercy, he claims for Krishna, the fallen conditioned soul. So the way he claims is engaging your senses in the devotional service by empowering you, by initiating you, by reminding you that your name is related to Krishna. Your name is not related to something material. That is the first thing when he does in initiation. He gives you the name. And since your name is related to Krishna, always the son remembers his father. Now your name is related to Krishna. You should always remember Krishna and never forget him so that you are safe. That is very, very important. That is how you should do your dharma. That paro dharma is that bhakti yogam adokshache. That is the original nature of the...
Haribol?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Today is Dwadasi. And
Oh my
time
God.
is also very much actually.
Oh, yeah. We should have finished with one sloka actually. Every Dwadasi we don't elaborate. Anyway, I'm sorry. What is the Dwadasi Parana time? Anybody remembers?
Now it is time 8:20. I think 10 o'clock. You anyway conclude, no, please.
Yeah. So whatever Krishna does, whether he does it here, whether he does it there, it is only to safeguard this living conditioned soul and taking them out from the condition and claim them back in their constitutional position. That is the main purpose. So the Lord comes here. That means for this particular conditioned soul to eradicate the false sense of enjoyment and reclaim the conditioned soul back to God is the purpose of God's incarnation, as well as God coming directly like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or any spiritual master like Guru Maharaj coming. This is the only purpose, because this is the nature of all merciful personality of Godhead for the fallen conditioned souls. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments or realization? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much for your association. So we will start sharp at 5 o'clock tomorrow by chanting congregationally the holy name of the Lord, followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Kalpatarubhyascha Sindhu
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.